Coach Nick, Jonathan Kuminga has demanded a trade. It's official. If you were to make a video, it would have to be about if Jonathan Kuminga is really a star.
It would be. Now, the question would be, well, if you know me, I use footage of players on the actual court to figure out what's going on. What footage am I using, Combo?
He's a champion. He's had meaningful playoff minutes in the past. He's had 30-point games. He's had stretches where he averaged 20. I think we've debated about his athleticism. I think he's an elite athlete. You don't seem to think so.
Oh, wait. You think I've said he wasn't an elite athlete?
I felt like we've debated that before.
I don't think so. I could definitely see. I mean, I think maybe the only thing we would end up saying is we don't see the elite athleticism like going for rebounds or defensively.
Well, I just remember watching him in Summer League, him get up for a layup. I have a video of it somewhere, and man, that guy's an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, no question. And by the way, a lot of times defensively, that's where you get to see it because even if you get beat, you can recover better than anybody else could and deflect a pass or block a shot or something. And so I would suspect that's a big part of why like maybe they weren't getting that kind of stuff out of him on the defensive end when they needed it. And that was a big reason why I guess he's not playing. But remember, yeah, he really has basically DNP CDs all over the place all year long. So we'd have to dredge up the clips against the Rockets in the playoffs when Steph went down. And yeah, you'd see a guy that can exist in space and be able to create his own shot a little bit and stuff. But, you know, there are other issues skill-wise that have led him to be in the position he's in.
Do you think this is malpractice on the Warriors side since he's obviously better than some of the players that are playing ahead of him?
Ooh, well, that's interesting. I mean, then that's the debate. Is he better than the players like individually but doesn't fit into what they're doing? So that's the thing. And I really don't like this notion of, oh, it's only the Warriors where he doesn't fit because the things they're asking him to do aren't that hard and he doesn't seem to want to do them. And when I say that, I mean like there's automatics like if Steph's under the basket and you're in the wing, you got to go set a pin down for him. Like, and he doesn't like to do that kind of stuff. It's weird and it would be easy. Just do a few of those a game and you'd be fine in theory. And then, you know, so what was the question? I lost my track.
Anyway, look, we see MPJ on Brooklyn thrive statistically. You don't think you could see that from a Kuminga? And, you know, MPJ does not have to set a lot of pin downs there. He kind of gets the ball, goes to work, and now his trade value is higher than ever. You don't see that happening with a Kuminga where you just give him the keys and he's an all-star?
It's fascinating because MPJ is a three-point shooter, right? Which is
I know. He's definitely a better shooter than Kuminga. But level of player, I mean, there's a world that Kuminga could get there if he's in the right situation, you know?
Maybe. But, like, the efficiency is a problem. And with the shot profile that he prefers in those mid-range shots, those non-rim paint shots, if you prefer those, then you got to make them more than he does. And I think that was probably the bigger issue. I think the Warriors are more than willing to allow him the freedom to find the shots he wants to find, but not if he's going to be taking those contested middies and not shooting them well enough. And that's the problem. Those are the Kevin Durant shots. And if you can't you don't have to be as close as Kevin Durant in terms of the percentage, but you got to be in the vicinity, and he wasn't. And that becomes the problem, you know? And so the malpractice, I think, with getting back to that question, wasn't, I mean, who knows as far as like the coaching stuff goes, you know, I see why they didn't want to put him out there because it might not help them win the games. I would probably say it's more of a front office issue where they just should have traded him a long time ago and realized this and gotten value back like they need right now.
I feel like I'm somewhat going in circles, but do you feel like he could become a legit star with his talent?
Right. And we've talked about this before, like if he goes to Charlotte or whatever, some team that's tanking and they don't have a lot of pressure on them, whatever, and it's open. Could he score, 24 a game?
Well, that's nice. I mean, that's a lot of talent right there with Knupel and LaMelo, but then you might have to trade one of them, right? Knupel's not going anywhere, but you got other guys. Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some guys. That would be a talented team. Like
who's better, Brandon Miller or Jonathan Kuminga?
I like Brandon Miller's game better, me personally. But right now, who's the better player? I mean, Kuminga's older, more experienced. I'd say Kuminga right now, but I'd rather have Brandon Miller.
I don't know. I mean, I need to do a little deeper.
The thing is, though, Brandon Miller has had a chance to really thrive and get a lot of minutes and get reps on the ball, and Kuminga doesn't feel like he's had that. But when he's had that, he's helped the team win a championship, and he's put up big numbers in the past.
Yeah. I mean, there is evidence, right? There is a video to be done where you could show the evidence what you're talking about of him doing well. But there's a lot of evidence on the other side too. So that's why I'm not quite certain. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't tell you 100% guaranteed you put him on a team where he's got a lot more reps. He's playing 32 minutes a game. I don't know if he's going to score 24 a game in that situation. I think it's probably more likely than not, but there's certainly a possibility where he continues to be inefficient and struggles, and the team's like, well, we can't give you these minutes if you're going to take these shots out of the context of our offense and not knock them down, more often in the make or miss league.
That'd be interesting, a swap, though, for MPJ and Kuminga in some form or fashion. But I think the Nets might be trying to hold on to him. But when they say you're trying to hold on to somebody, that means you're about to be out of there.
Well, the Warriors also seem to think that they don't want him either. That's the reporting. But someone was trying to say that. Well, remember, he can't play defense really, right? His back issues are such that he doesn't really move as well as he ever as he did when he was younger.
Which he doesn't really need to play defense in Brooklyn. He could just get buckets.
Yeah, exactly. And they need someone who can play defense without question on the Warriors. You need a real 3-and-D guy. He's not that. So that might not be why. Now, that said, I believe you probably could go through before they got Butler in that trade and find some evidence of some reporting that said that they weren't interested in Butler, and then poof, there he is. So it could all be part of that, they played the game, and Shams is a part of the, gets caught up in the middle of all these things with these reports. So it's always hard to find out exactly what's going on. I don't think that MPJ is the guy, honestly, that they need for the Warriors anyway. But, to me, it feels like they need maybe another big man that can rebound and play some defense.
A stretch big. I mean, that always works with the Warriors, right?
Well, they already have two of those.
Yeah, and that's not working out too well right now.
Well, that's true. I mean,
they don't seem legit at all at this point, right?
Well, okay, there are moments when you've seen that they can compete with anybody, yeah, but it's got to be perfect, and that's not a recipe for success if you're going to go in the Western Conference final, playoffs. Maybe in the East, that you can kind of say, oh, we could try this, but without question, they need to make a trade. They want to make a trade. They need to, improve the talent level across the board. I'm just trying to figure out if they had a target of what they wanted to fill in most at the top would be. Right. I would think closer towards, because I think their overall shooting on the threes is fine, and their frequency is fine. I would think that sometimes they struggle when they're getting defensive rebounds aren't coming. Draymond's working way too hard at the center position, so I would Robert Williams kind of a guy would probably be someone that would be worthwhile getting to give him about 15, 18 minutes, grabbing boards, block a shot or two, have a presence down there.
Draymond has had some trade buzz.
He has.
Yeah, didn't he get into some situation with Kerr recently?
He did. I mean, I'm sure they've had a number of those over the long relationship they've had. So, but
is Draymond valuable to another franchise?
Probably not, because people don't value defense as much as they should, and that was where he'd really do it. His offense has never improved. It's actually remarkable in that respect, how he's sort of never gotten better. He's a good passer, but he's never gotten better at finishing or shooting. It's kind of crazy.
It'd be interesting.
I shouldn't say that. His 3-point percentage was pretty high last year, but I think it's gone back down now. I can check real quick. But
it'd be interesting to see him in an MPJ situation. It probably wouldn't look too good, like if he was on the Brooklyn Nets. No,
not offensively, but he could figure some things out and make it work. Yeah. So he had actually, forgive me, it was 2 years ago where he shot 39.5%. But remember, those are all completely wide open. He's ramped up his attempts since then, in an effort okay, now I can shoot him, and they went right back down to his career, below 33%. So he doesn't have the gravity in that sense, and they've been able to figure it out with the Warriors at least how to mitigate the gravity issues with him. But it's always been an issue, and I just think that it's too much for most teams. They wouldn't really want him unless it was really cheap, I suppose.
Fact or fiction? Jonathan Kuminga will make at least one NBA All-Star game during his career.
Well, I mean, I would be hard pressed to find any other All-Star that has had a career beginning like his.
He's a champion, Coach Nick.
Well, he is, but for a guy in his fourth or fifth year to be getting DNP CDs and then turn it around, it'd be really rare for an All-Star, right? You're not going to find anybody like that.
The level of player that he is does not warrant DNPs. I mean, he's better than a lot. He's better than a lot of the guys playing.
I agree with that. He didn't help his cause when, the other day that the reporting was then and even now more that they were going to need him because they had some guys out, and he suddenly mysteriously had back spasms. And I think it was pretty clear that he just was like, no, I'm not going to play. That's not great. All those things are not great. He left the bench. I did a video on that one. And then after they took him out in the fourth quarter of a game.
I mean, that's partly because him and Kerr are not getting along very well. right?
Yeah, and you hear Butler and Draymond are really effusive in their praise for how he's handling the situation, which I suppose is a really nice testament to him that he is handling it as well as he has. It hasn't been perfect, and I don't necessarily blame him because you're right. He does merit with his talent level some minutes somehow, and he's not getting any of that, and that's got to be tough. And I just think because he knows they're gonna have to trade him, right? They're gonna trade him. That he can that's kept him calm from now. But man, I don't know if this drags on too close to the trade deadline. I wonder how he's going to react. And if they don't trade him, then that's a cloud over the whole team's head.
Oh, he has to be traded. There's no way it doesn't happen, right?
I can't see any other way, but like they don't want Malik Monk and his contract.
Malik Monk, yeah, the contract's hurting his trade value, right?
Yeah. And there's nothing they can do about it, right? It's not like they can negotiate that. And I get it, but it is also a shame that like Steph Curry is losing a couple of these years at the end of his career, where they could have maybe upgraded their roster a little bit better, and they're kind of stuck in the stasis right now. So they should have done this 2 years ago, honestly, when he actually had more value, right? I think Kuminga 2 years ago had a lot more value than he does now. And it's funny because you'd say, okay, they want to trade him, so you think they would be playing him to get that value up, and it speaks volumes that they won't for whatever reason.